Well, you know, Val, I always like finding cars that I know nothing about. And I know nothing about this car.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, good. So what's the story? This is an Alfa Romeo Zagato?
This is an Alfa Romeo Zagato. This came out of the late 60s, early 70s. Okay,
What year is it?
This is 71.
Okay.
Alfa was doing reasonably well, being recognized around the world about that time, and so they felt pretty comfortable with their product line that was rolling with the nice smooth lines and so on. And one of the VPs or someone said, "Hey, you know what? Why don't we do a brand new kind of aerodynamic, maybe a small run, a small version, but agile and everything, and see if we can't get that niche market that must exist out there." So a little bit of research on their part. They thought they would be able to sell in Europe, maybe a couple thousand of these. Okay, and so they went to Zagato and they said, "Hey, can you guys come back with, our vision is a low coefficient, drag coefficient car with braking lines, with some new novel incorporating features, hopefully beautiful body lines when it gets all done." And Zagato thought about it and came back and said, "Yeah, we can do it. And if it's a small production, we'll even do some of the production stuff too." So the car was produced both in the Alfa production facilities and also in the Zagato facilities.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it really Alfa underpinnings and Zagato body, or did Zagato were they involved in more than just the body?
You're right. Your first thought is correct. The underpinnings are 105 series Alfa.
Okay.
A shortened Spider. Started with a Spider chassis, shortened it a couple inches, and then gave that to Zagato to put their body on.
I see. Okay.
And then it came back and forth, depending upon what it needed next. But these are all hand built. So you see stampings on all the pieces.
So one from this car won't fit one from the other.
That's exactly right. So if you go around, Dennis, you tell me about, that's not a uniform line through there, I'm going to say,
that's because Luigi did this.
That's
one,
right.
And
so
Antonio did that
and
one.
I would get points knocked off if I corrected that.
That's right. It's incorrect from the factory.
This was their vision. They tooled up and they started, I think it was late 69, producing
and they were going to do
series.
A couple thousand of these?
They were, and they stopped at 1124 or something like that.
Okay.
In this version, there is about 200 plus with a slightly larger engine. They didn't call it the Junior any longer. They called just Alfa Zagato.
Were they sold mostly in Europe? Or
Yes.
Okay. Did they come to the U.S. at all?
No. They couldn't. They
couldn't meet
come.
any of the specs.
Yeah,
probably.
right. The lights behind this kind of transparent was a no-no back then.
Well, plus that is a bumper in name only.
That's correct. So they failed. But so what happened? How did the car get to me? The first owner was a Canadian.
Okay.
He bought it in '72. Okay. He took it to Canada and kept it about a year. I've never met him, don't really know more than that story. The second owner acquired it, and he's the guy I bought it from, so I'm its third owner. Okay? And he had it for like 34 years, and then I bought it in 2006 or 2007.
Was it in this kind of shape?
Yes and no. It was all there. I was looking for a car that had all the unique pieces, bright metal pieces.
Right.
I didn't want to chase that stuff.
That'd be terrible.
That would be terrible. So I asked him, does it have this? I had my checklist. And he said, yeah, it's got that. It's got that. It's got that. And I said, okay, well, how much do you want for it? He said, I don't know. Okay, I'll have to get back with you. And I said, well, I don't know either how much I want to pay. So probably a couple of months later, we kind of met in the middle. And then I said, I can't pick it up this year because it's too late in the year, okay? It's getting wintertime. And he said, no problem, I'll store it for you for free, and it'll be the car that goes indoors, everything else goes outdoors. So he was an Alfa guy.
You're an Alfa guy too, though. This is not your only Alfa.
When I got out of school back in '65, I had more money in my pocket that I knew what to do with. Single guy with, engineering degree and ready to go conquer the world and all that. And so I said, well, what car do I want? James Bond movie had just come out. I said, Aston Martin, that's nice.
Aston Martin?
Yeah, so I went up the Pasadena dealership and they said, how much for? I asked him how much for an oil change if I had to bring it back, and it was a monstrous amount of money.
Exactly.
And so I said, well, maybe
not an Aston Martin.
maybe not an Aston, but maybe a nice, well done, engineering-wise, beautiful car. Okay, on the
Alfa
inside,
Romeos are that way.
if you pull off the cam cover, you'll see some beautiful engineering in there. And so I tuned into that. And I bought my first Alfa in 1965. It's a Spider Veloci.
How many have you had since?
Well, sometimes they ask me that, and I say I really don't know, but it's close to 20 probably. But they're not all this. Probably a half a dozen are like this.
Oh, is this a stock original color?
This is the prototype color. This color was used once, so it was probably the available yellow that they hurry and paint the car because we need some shots. So I said, I'm going to try to replicate that the best way I can.
The cockpit, is this typical Alfa, or has this got some Zagato
Well,
touches
no,
to it?
it's typical Alfa. I don't think, I've never read anything that said that Zagato had a lot to do, well, other than obviously to put the body pieces on. You've got to, go with the flow. And
That
so
shift up on the console was pretty crazy.
yeah, well, but that's standard Alfa. That's a long throw. People complain about that, some people, but that's where a typical Alfa likes to keep them.
And I like how the gauges are all canted toward the driver.
Yeah,
That's nice.
Yeah. That's all special stuff. All that I could give you stories that like I can't find one of those. What am I going to do? Like the cover on the gauges and so on.
Yeah, I believe it. And I like your door panels. The seats are really nice. And she's a little hatchback.
Yeah.
And so you have some space.
Yeah,
For
you
a
do.
car this small, it's kind of surprising.
Okay, and then we can give a demonstration, but this is articulated, and I can drive this up and down, and so it was really for airflow or cabin comfort.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so they could control,
So, I mean, you could actually drive this with that cracked open?
Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, there's a neat story. Yes, the answer, there's a neat story about one of these that had the hatch up like that, okay, in a driving position, and he was being followed by another guy that was helping him take the car
your
home.
hatch is open.
Yeah, and he came over and slammed to try to close the hatch. And I don't know if it, but it wasn't, the owner didn't feel really good about that.
I'm sure that's true.
Yeah.
So let's go see what powers this little baby.
Okay, now this is where the Junior kind of comes in. So this is pretty much run-of-the-mill Alfa. Everything you see in there is nothing special about this part.
4-cylinder, dual overhead cam.
Dual overhead cam, twin Webers, right, 1290cc.
Cast iron headers?
Yes, these are cast iron, and that's
standard?
Yes, that's standard. But optimum flow headers and that sort of thing. They originally, when I say they, the previous owners, I don't know which of the one did it, but they were into rallying a little bit, so they dropped a 1750 in it. Okay, cc.
How big is this?
This is 1300.
Okay.
So when I went to get it, he told me that's what size engine. I said, well, did you keep the original? He said, no. We threw that away.
Oh my God.
Who wants one of those? Because we're trying to go as fast as we can, and that engine fits the 1750.
So where'd you find the engine?
I was up at a show in Chicago, and a guy by the name of Mike Bisick was there, and I was talking to someone about an engine that I needed, and he said, hey, I do engines. And if you do a little research on Mike Bisick, he's one of the guys that's title to the fastest Alfa at Bonneville that went 230 miles an hour or something like that. But anyway, he said, I'll build an engine for you if you want me to, if you're not in a hurry for it. I said, no, I've got other stuff going on with the car. And he did. And
so that's built by him?
Yes.
Wow. But it's the small, the 1300? Or?
Yes.
Wow. But I bet it's a putting out.
He said,
he tweaked it a bit?
Yes. He said, can I do a few things? I said, well, what are you going to do? He said, how about a little hotter cam and some stuff like that, and actually increase the bore a little bit.
So is it fun to drive?
It is fun to drive. It's a go-kart. A pretty go-kart is what it is to drive.
Is it steel?
It's partially steel and aluminum. This is aluminum. The rest is pretty much steel. Okay. So everything else. So it's pretty heavy. for
For something this size,
Yeah, for that, for somebody. So it weighs in at 26, something like that, which is probably pretty heavy.
Well, go ahead and close it back up because I just love the lines of the car.
Oh, okay. But anyway, so the rest of that's pretty well a plain vanilla Alfa. But I mean, beautiful Alfa stuff.
So have you been to Keels and Wheels before?
Yes.
Isn't this a fun show?
Oh, it's a beautiful show. This is like going when I was in kindergarten. Mrs. Anderson said, "Okay, kids, we're going to go outside and take a break." And I went over to my wooden car and raced out to the sandbox, and that's where I was, man.
And this is your sandbox now?
This is my sandbox.
Well, Val, I love this car. 71 Alfa Romeo Zagato Junior.
You're
Is that
right.
right?
Right.
Thanks so much for bringing it up.
Okay, and there are probably 35 of these in the States right now.
Well, I'm honored. Thanks again.
Okay, all right, my pleasure.